it's Katie from Gale Borden Library, and today for our Countdown to Kindergarten video, we're going to talk about early math. Now, math is a really important skill to get ready for kindergarten, and one of the things that you want to practice for early math is counting. Okay, so quantity, it's a really important skill. We're going to start with numbers 1 through 10. And after your child has mastered 1 through 10, then you can start going 10 through 20 and going all the way from 1 to 20. But the first 10 are the most important to learn. Now, a lot of kids know how to recite numbers 1 through 10, kind of like in a sing-songy way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But that's not necessarily counting. Reciting is a really important skill because they need to know the order of the numbers. But actually counting means that you need objects, and those objects match the number that you are saying. So to transition from reciting to counting, you need actual objects. So today I brought these little counting bears. You can get these around, but you don't need anything fancy. You can do Legos, blocks, Cheerios, buttons. I mean, all you really need, and I'm going to start with 5 here, and I'm going to lay them out in a row like this so we can see them and your child can see them easily. So oftentimes when you see kids start to count objects, they're using their reciting skills, so they might just go really, really fast through as they've seen other people or grown-ups learn to count. So they might say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. Because they don't understand quite yet the skill that we obviously know, that you're matching a quantity of something to a word or a number that you are saying. So that's just natural. It's a part of reciting. But in order to transition into the actual counting, they need to know that they're counting to get the final amount. They're counting individually to get the final amount. So what we're going to do is play a game with them. We're going to say that you're going to put your pointer finger on the object and then say the number 1, and you can't say the next number until you put your finger on the object. Okay, so you're going to start 1, 2. You can take as much space and time as you want. 3. So you can take those big exaggerated pauses because they understand that they're not just putting like the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or 1, 2, 3. They're not just stating it like a song. They're actually connecting it to the quantity on the table. So that's a really fun game. You can do that. You can start with 1, 2, 3. Then they can point and you can say the numbers. And then ultimately they can point and say the numbers as they go. And that's a really great way to make it fun and to make it not seem so intimidating. So as you count, you can say the number, and then the last number that you say, so in this case 5, that's the last one that you say is going to be the total amount, right? So that's important for them to know that the last thing that they say is the total. You can also put them in groups to understand, like, okay, there's 2 of them right here, and there's 3 of them right over there. Okay, so you're separating them to understand different quantities. You couldn't see that. I have to do that again. Okay. You can also put them in smaller groups to show that 2, this is how you start addition and subtraction, is you can put 2 over here and 3 over on this side. And there's still 5. So it's understanding that even if the bears move, say the red one's gonna go over here, there's still 5, even though they're not in the same order. Maybe some go up here, maybe some go on their sides. Well, they still have 5, and you can count them again, even if they're in any order or any shape. The next thing is to put them all in a bunch and say, is this still 5? Yes, it is still 5, and you count those together. And then the last thing is you can make them disappear and ask them, is there still 5 in there? Yes, and then you can open it up and count to 5 again. You can do things like take them out and put them in a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then try other things. You can try other objects. The next step after that is to start counting things that aren't tangible, that you can't physically see, or it can't be held or touched. So these are going to be things like movement and sound, and that's going to really solidify the fact that it's not just objects, it's the number connects to a certain number of things. So a great way to start that is clapping. So you can clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 claps. And that's a little bit more challenging because they can't see them as they go by. They disappear into sound. You could count jumps. You could count shrugs. You could count bending your knees up and down. That's a great way to transition from understanding that it's not just objects, it's also movements and things in our world. And then you can even extend it out into shopping trips, being in the car, going on walks. You can count everything and bring early math into everything. You can count your fingers. You could count how many trees are outside in your yard, how many apples that you're gonna get at the grocery store. So many ways that how many chicken nuggets are on your plate. How about that? There's so many ways to bring early math into your child's daily life. And the main thing is understanding that there's reciting, and that's one skill, and then there's actually counting, and that is a different skill. And you want to move towards counting and matching the objects to the number that you are saying. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Keep practicing those math skills and kindergarten readiness skills at home, and we'll see you again at the library.
Hola amigos, soy la señorita Stephanie de la biblioteca Gilborden. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos otra vez en otra semana de cuenta regresiva hacia el kínder, en donde les enseñamos habilidades básicas para preparar a su niño para el kínder. Hoy lo que vamos a cubrir es contando. Contando es muy importante para sus niños entrando al kínder, pero lo que notamos es que un niño a veces piensa que sabe contar y su forma de contar es así: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Porque aprende en una forma, sea de canción o rima, pero no identifica la cantidad de objetos con el número. Entonces, para empezar, una buena forma de empezar a enseñarle a sus niños a contar apropiadamente sería empezando con lo más básico, del 1 al 5, luego del 1 al 10, luego del 1 al 20 y seguir así, lentamente agregando la cantidad de números que van aprendiendo. Entonces hoy vamos a empezar con 5. La primera técnica que les quiero dar es contando. Obviamente los deditos son los más importantes para usar para aprender a contar. Muchos niños pueden empezar a contar con los deditos de su mano: 1, 2, 3, 4 y 5. Y luego seguir con 10. Tenemos 10 deditos. Con objetos también hay una buena técnica porque es algo que su niño puede apuntar. Es un niño más chiquito, a veces se le hace más fácil apuntarle a un objeto. Entonces, la manera apropiada para poder enseñarse a contar bien sería apuntándole con el dedito al objeto. 1. Luego, lo más importante es no dejar al niño continuar contando hasta que no identifique la cantidad de objetos con el número. Por ejemplo, sería 1, luego puedes mover al segundo y sería 2, 3, 4, 5. Hay a veces que vemos niños que dicen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lo que queremos es que identifiquen el número de cosas. Entonces sería 1, deténganlos y díganle, ok, ¿qué sería el próximo? 2, muy bien. Luego 3, 4 y 5. Que se detengan su dedo en el objeto que van contando, así asocian el número al objeto. Otra cosa que pueden aprender, especialmente con objetos, es enseñarles que es la cantidad de cosas. Entonces sería, aquí son 5. Sabes que son 5. Contamos 5 objetos. Aunque mueva estos 2 para enfrente y se queden estos 3 atrás, son 5 objetos. Eso es una buena forma también para introducirle la matemática, porque puedes quitar 5 y ¿cuántos te quedan? 1, 2, 3. O puedes agregar 2 y ¿cuántos tienes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Así van ellos aprendiendo a cómo asociar el número con el objeto. Otra cosa también es que no nada más tienen que contar objetos. El día al día pueden practicar con sus niños cómo contar apropiadamente, como cuando salgan a caminar, al parque, a la tienda. La tienda es un muy buen ejemplo. Pueden ir caminando en la tienda, van a agarrar sus vegetales o frutas, pueden tener la bolsa y los niños pueden ir contando con ustedes. 1 manzana, 2 manzanas, 3 manzanas. ¿Cuántas son? 3 manzanas. Práctica es la mejor forma de que un niño aprenda. Otra forma o técnica que pueden usar, no tiene que ser con objetos, pueden ir caminando y digan, ok, brinquen solamente una vez o brinquen solamente 2. O que ellos brinquen y digan 1 brinco, 2 brincos, 3 brincos.